If you've been dating a woman and she says certain things to you, you shouldn't ignore them, not because every relationship is perfect, but because some words reveal deeper patterns. I'm not talking about small arguments or harmless jokes. I'm talking about phrases that, when repeated over time, can show a lack of respect, poor communication, or emotional imbalance. And here's where most men go wrong. They hear these things, feel uncomfortable, but convince themselves, it's not a big deal. She didn't mean it. I'm probably overthinking. But over time, those small moments start to add up. And what you ignore in the beginning becomes what you suffer from later. This video isn't about blaming women. It's about helping you recognize unhealthy patterns early, so you can protect your time, your energy, and your self-respect. Let's get into it. 1. You're too sensitive. Let's start with this one. If you express a concern and her response is, "You're too sensitive," that can mean different things depending on the situation. Sometimes, yes, people can overreact. But if this becomes her default response whenever you bring up something that bothers you, that's a problem, because a healthy relationship allows both people to speak openly without being dismissed. When your feelings are constantly minimized, you start second-guessing yourself. You hesitate to speak up, and slowly, communication breaks down. A better response would be something like, "I didn't realize that affected you. Let's talk about it." That shows willingness to understand. So the real question isn't just what she says, it's whether she's open to listening when something matters to you. 2. You should be more like. Comparisons. This one can damage confidence fast. If she says, "You should be more like this guy." "My ex used to do this better." It might seem casual, but repeated comparisons create pressure. Instead of feeling accepted, you start feeling evaluated. And here's the issue. Attraction grows when you feel appreciated, not when you feel like you're constantly being measured. Now, healthy relationships do involve growth, but there's a difference between encouragement and comparison. Encouragement builds you, comparison replaces you. If someone values you, they help you grow without making you feel like you're not enough. 3. I don't need you. This one is tricky because independence is a good thing. A strong woman should be able to stand on her own, but context matters. If "I don't need you" is said in a way that dismisses your role in her life, it can create emotional distance. Healthy relationships are not about dependency. They're about mutual value. It's not, "I can survive without you." It's, "My life is better with you in it." If that second feeling is missing, then the connection starts to weaken. You shouldn't feel like you're just optional. You should feel like you're appreciated. 4. If you loved me, you would. This is where things can get unhealthy quickly, because this phrase puts pressure on you to prove your love. Instead of discussing needs openly, it turns love into a test. And here's the problem. Love should be expressed through choice, not pressure. If you're constantly being told, "If you loved me, you'd do this," you may start ignoring your own boundaries just to avoid conflict. That's not balance. That's imbalance. In a healthy dynamic, both people can say, "This matters to me. Can we talk about it?" without making the other person feel guilty or forced. 5. You're lucky to have me. This one might sound playful at first, but repeated often, it can shift the dynamic because it creates an imbalance of value. It suggests one person is the prize and the other is just trying to keep up. But real relationships don't work like that. Respect comes from equality, from knowing that both people bring something meaningful. You shouldn't feel like you're constantly proving your worth. And you also shouldn't expect the other person to feel that way either. The healthiest mindset is simple. We're both lucky to have each other. Final thoughts. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Relationships don't fail overnight. They fade slowly, through repeated patterns, small dismissals, unbalanced effort, lack of communication. And often, the signs are there early. We just ignore them. Not because we're weak, but because we hope things will change. Sometimes they do. But sometimes, recognizing the pattern early can save you months, or even years, of frustration. So pay attention, not just to what she says, but how she treats you consistently. Because respect isn't shown in one moment. It's revealed over time. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced one of these situations? What did you do, and what did you learn from it? Drop it in the comments. Your experience might help someone else see things more clearly, and in the next video, we're going to talk about something important: the subtle ways people test boundaries in relationships without even realizing it. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you there.